So we're in our downward dog. And for this one, go ahead and bring the insides of the feet together. So the insides of the big toe are together. And bend and straighten through those knees. Lift up onto the toes. And then come back down again and kind of bounce through the heels. Let's lift up again. And then bounce through the heels. And push the insides of the heels down towards the floor. And then keep lifting those hips back. And this becomes really difficult to keep that lower back long while trying to push the inner heels down. And then come down, bring your knees down to the floor, knees wide, come into child's pose. Two more breaths here. Let that right shoulder fall to the floor, let the left shoulder push down towards the floor. Push the chest down towards the floor. And then take your toes under again. Bring the inner thighs back, so the thighs are rolling inward rotation a bit, but then squeeze the outside of your hips together. Lift up on the toes, and then bounce down on the heels. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift the lower back up towards the ceiling, and back down. One more time. Exhale down. And then bring the knees down towards the floor, hips back towards the heels. And again, this time push the armpits down towards the floor. Chest down towards the floor. Good. All right, now let's tuck our toes back into our downward dog. Reach that left heel down to the floor, reach the right leg up to the ceiling, turn that right hip open, bend the knee, reach the left heel down towards the floor. Lift the knee up, lift the left side of the rib cage up. And then turn that leg under, put the right foot down. Let's do it again. Inhale that left leg up. Bend the knee, reach the rib cage down, lift the right side of the rib cage up. And turn that left leg under, put the foot down. Roll yourself forward into a plank pose. And then we're going to exhale as we bring our knees down to the floor and then bring your chest down to the floor. And then you can scoot yourself so you're flat on the floor. All right, bring the fingertips wide of the mat and inhale, lift up into a cobra and then exhale down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale up. And exhale down. Use the abdominals this time. So turn those toes in. So inner thighs are working inward rotation. And then lift the abdominals, lift up. And then let's look over our left shoulder, look over our right shoulder, and then come down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes under, come through your child. Downward facing dog. All right, start to walk the feet forward to meet your hands. And then just hang opposite elbows. So bend through the knees slightly, take opposite elbows, and hang over the legs. Take your hands to your hips, come all the way up. And now you can only can't see my head. You move over this way. All right, and then come to Tadasana at the front of your mat. So bring your hands to your heart center. Let me move this back so you can see me a little better. And we're gonna go ahead and start with some half sun salutes. Still not great. All right, gonna inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale all the way down to the floor. Inhale to a flat back, lift the chest. Exhale back into the legs, up through the feet. Inhale, come all the way back up to stand. Bring the hands to the heart center. Let's go again. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, come forward over the legs. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, come back into the legs, and then inhale, come all the way up. All right, 3 more like that at your own pace. So go ahead, start with your inhale, arms down and up. Inner thighs move back, outside to the hips, squeeze towards the center. And when you finish your third one, we're gonna fall over our legs and we're just gonna stay there in the forward bend. And when we're there, all there, we're gonna inhale to a flat back. Exhale, step yourself back. We're gonna take our right leg back and then take the right knee down to the floor, walk your right hand out a little bit, and then lift your left hand up to the ceiling into the twist. So you're gonna probably roll that right shoulder forward, pull it back, lift up. You'll notice when you roll the right shoulder back, the whole pose lifts a bit, right? Now you can come a little further forward into that left leg. And then we're going to take the left hand onto either side of to the other side of the left foot, and then straighten through that left leg and come into that thigh stretch. And then flex the left foot. Take another breath there. Come forward. Take your left hand forward. Bend that right leg in, and either stay there or start to reach the left arm back and try to grab hold of that right foot. Or you can stay here. If you can, pull the right foot in a little closer. Gentle though, because it's early, right? We're not that warm. Now pull your stomach away from the left thigh, twist a little deeper. Pull that belly in, twist a little deeper. And you can do that even here with the leg down. Roll the right shoulder back. If you're like me, it keeps wanting to dump forward, pull it back. All right, hands on either side of that left foot. Step yourself back, plank pose. Exhaling all the way down to the floor. Roll the shoulders back and then take your hands behind your body, interlace the fingers, pull yourself up. Imagine I'm there pulling your hands back for you. And then come down, hands on either side of the underneath your chest. Tuck your toes under, come back, downward facing dog. All right. Our right leg up to the ceiling, bring your right knee to your nose, put your foot between your hands, leave your left hand where it is, maybe scooch it out a little bit. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling, move that left shoulder back. I'm gonna turn so I can see it. Right arm up, and then maybe pull that left, oh no, we're not there yet, sorry. Right arm up. Now take it down, straight through the right leg, flex that right foot, and hold it. Keep pulling the right hip back, breathe. This is one of those stretches where it doesn't matter how often you do it. There's always something to the release, right? It's always tight. All right, bend through the right leg. Take the left hand out to the side, reach the right arm forward, bend through the left knee, and maybe take hold of that foot. So I've given you a lot of options because some of us start to cramp a lot in that one, especially so early in the class. But if you can, you're gonna be here. Otherwise you might be here. All right, take that right hand forward, and then on either side of that right foot, so that's where the hands are. Now tuck your left foot under, and then push off the left foot and come hang over the legs. All right, hands on your hips, come up with a flat back, come all the way to stand, and now my head is cut off. Bring your hands to your heart center, so I'm like this. Okay. All right, actually, you know what we'll do? I'll be bending down anyway, so you'll be able to see me, because we are gonna come into Utkatasana chair pose. So move your feet wider apart, about hip distance apart, actual hip distance, not where you think your hips are, but where your hips actually are, right? And then bend your hips, bend down, so I'm in that lightning bolt position. Hands here at your heart, and then take your right hand to your right thigh and twist yourself over to your right hooking that left tricep over the left thigh. And then trying to sit a little deeper. What I'm mainly concerned about here is you pulling your left hip and knee back and pulling the belly off the right thigh. I mean off the, yeah, the right thigh. So you're pulling, so you're still engaging the upper body, squeeze the thighs together, and then just breathe. Top of the head moving forward. All right, then we're gonna come back to the center, can straighten through the legs, bring the hands to the heart center, and then let's do the other side. So you're gonna bend through the legs, top of the head forward, bring the hands to the heart center, and then the left hand to the left thigh, and then scooch, such harder for some reason. I have to move my stomach out of the way more, so pull the belly in, and then get that right tricep over the left thigh, pull the right knee back, and then push it all together. Two more breaths. And then we get to fall over the legs, and that should feel really delicious. All right, taking that right leg back behind us again. And this time, keep the right knee up, walk that right hand out a little bit, and then open into a twist. And this time we don't have to lift the leg. We get to stay here. That would be interesting if we lifted the leg from here. To try that. It's not that comfortable. So stay here. So you're in a nice twist. So top of the head, reaching forward. And to get into those shoulders, you really need to reach that right shoulder back. And let's take the left hand over the left ear if that feels okay. And if not, keep it up. If you're feeling neck and shouldery today, then up here might be good, or even here. All right, then we're taking hands onto either side of that front foot. Step yourself back, plank. Lower all the way to the floor. Interlace the fingers behind the back, reach back. And then come down one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Take yourself back. Downward facing dog. All right, right leg up to the ceiling. Bring the right knee to the nose, foot between the hands. Left hand stays up, down to the side. Right arm reaches up. Turning so you can see me. And then that right arm can come over the right ear. Keep lifting that left thigh. Right arm over the ear, or keep it up or bring it down. One more breath. And then take your hands on either side of that right foot and then push off that left foot and come to hang over the legs. Interlace the hands behind the back here. And then sweep the arms up overhead. And then we're going to interlace the hands here and sit back, Utkatasana. So the hands are above the head. And then from there, we're going to come into a twist again. Left arm over right leg. Keep pulling and pull that left hip back. And then come back to the center. And we're going to twist it again. Right arm over left leg. You can tell we're doing twists. Lift the head forward, hips back, and then fall over the legs. And this time let's step directly to plank. And then you can do your chaturanga if you want, or you can just come all the way to the floor, up dog or cobra. And then exhaling back, downward facing dog. And then just sit in your dog for a good 3 breaths. Squeeze those triceps together. Lift the hips up. And then take your right leg up to the ceiling, squeeze the leg in, bring your right knee to your nose, put the foot between your hands, draw yourself up into your lunge. Bring your hands to your heart, and then we're going to twist over to the right side. So left tricep on the right thigh. And you can even put your left knee down here, okay? But see if you can play with the balance and squeeze the thighs together. Come into the twist. My abdominals are engaged here. My top of my head is moving forward. And then from there, I'm going to turn my back heel down to the floor and open up into a warrior 2. Squeeze the hips together. Pull the right knee back. Squeeze that left hip in. Arms out to the side. I'm going to turn so you can see me. So you're here. Good. Now I have a hip injury, so I can't go down to a full right angle here, but that's what we're moving down towards, is that thigh really low to the floor. Good. So I'm noticing, I can't see you guys well, but I'm noticing a little bit of this. Try to pull the rib cage back over the hips. Okay, I'm just saying, that's like the only thing I can really see. And then everybody push to the right heel. I'm not gonna go lower, but you can. So try it, I'm gonna go for a second. We're moving towards that. Okay, I'm gonna back off a bit, but that's what you're going towards. Okay, pull that belly in. Take the left arm back, right arm back, and then cartwheel the hands to either side of that front foot. You have an option of going all the way down to the floor like that, and then just coming into a cobra or a high cobra, or coming through the chaturanga all the way to upward facing dog. All right, from there, lift the left leg up, squeeze into the midline, bring the left knee to the nose, foot between the hands, draw yourself up, and then take the right arm over left thigh and come into your twist. Lift that back right thigh. So see how I'm twisting? I don't want to do that. I want to lift up. And then my top of my head is trying to move forward. 2 more breaths. Push into the left heel, and then rotate that right heel down to the floor and open up, warrior 2. Same thing, warrior 2. On this side, I can go a little lower. So that's kind of what we're moving to. Then this action we want to avoid. So I'm going to pull in from this left hip, pull back a little bit and squeeze the right hip. Pull those ribs in. And then take that right hand back, left arm back, and come forward. Chaturanga, or up dog, or or down to the floor, cobra or up dog, back, downward facing dog. And then give yourself a few breaths here. And then bend through the knees, and then either jump or walk and bring your feet to meet your hands. Inhale to flat back, exhaling into the legs. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, sit in Utkatasana. And then push through the feet and come up to stand. Okay, let's do some of those twists again. Twist, get your heart rate going, definitely. Sitting down into the twist, bring your hands to your heart and twist over to your right side. All right, I have a little challenge for us. Are you guys up for it? I think you're unmuted. You up for a challenge? Sure. Okay, if you're not, I'll show you the option. Here's option 1. So if you're in your twist, look down at your feet, and then you're gonna lift your left toes up and see if you can step back to your lunge from there. If that does not working for you today, you're gonna come back to center, step into your lunge, and then meet us in the twist. Try both. I like this one because it takes a lot of concentration. To look down at the floor, that's my little hint. Push into your right foot, lift the left, and step back. Don't make it a big deal, just kind of get in there. Good. All right, my eyes aren't great for distance, so I can't see who did it or not, but good job no matter what. As long as you got there, who cares? You can always put that left knee down. All right, open yourself up, warrior 2. Push into that right heel, left arm back, right arm up, and then come forward into your side angle pose. So we're just gonna keep that right forearm onto the right knee. Again, you can go a little deeper, pull the right ribs away from the leg, and then for today, to get into that left shoulder, reach it up, reach it behind you, and see if you can take hold of the top of the right thigh. Then twist open and pull your ribs in. And back of the head's long. Pull the right shoulder back. And then we might as well stay here and straighten through that right leg, and then either bring your right hand to the ground, shin, block, whatever works for you. Roll the right shoulder back, ribs in, back long. So let's put all of our attention down the back of the body. First, lift that right knee. Then back of the body is long and reaching towards whatever's in front of your head over there. And left arm's behind the body. And if your neck's okay, look up at the ceiling. All right, reaching that left hand down to the floor. And then let's just make this super simple. Bend through the right knee, step yourself back. Plank pose, chaturanga if you're doing it. Upward dog if you're doing it. Exhaling back, downward dog. From there, inhale your left leg up. Oh, we want to do our step back though, actually. Bend through the knees. Jump or step and bring your feet to meet your hands. Inhale to flat back. Exhaling back. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And then sit back into Utkatasana. Then we're going to have to take our right arm over our left thigh. Bring the hands together. Come into your twist. Now, here's the same thing as the other side. Look down at the floor. And then we're going to try to balance on that left foot as we take our right leg back. You'll notice one side's easier than the other, right? One side's more wobbly. All right, squeeze the thighs together. Lift the right hip up to the ceiling. Take a few breaths here. Move that left shoulder back. And then we're going to twist that right heel down and open ourselves up. Warrior two. Squeeze the right hip in. Lift up from the back of the body up towards the ceiling. That'll have the same effect as pulling the ribs in. Squeeze the right hip. All right, take the right arm down, left arm up, and then come into side angle. Pull that lower stomach in, open up. Squeeze the right hip. Oh, and take that, forgot this part. Take the right arm around top of the left thigh. Squeeze the right hip, squeeze the left hip. And then start to straighten through that left leg, lift up on that left knee, even come up for a second so that you see that you're not just dumping into the hip. You can support yourself. Squeeze the hips together, take that left hand down, and then maybe look up to the ceiling. Squeeze the right hip, lift up on the left kneecap.
All I know is that those videos I would
All right, from there, take your hands down to either side of that front foot. And now we can step back into our plank, chaturanga, or all the way to the floor, up dog or cobra, and back, downward facing dog. Hips lifting up. All right, from there, bend through the knees and either take a light hop or walk your feet to meet your hands. Inhale to flat back, exhaling into the legs. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And this will be our last Pavrita Utkatasana, twisted chair pose. It's our last one. Sit down, because everybody loves these, right? They're kind of awful. Take your tricep over your right thigh and come into your twist. It feels so good after though. Back is long, lift through the head, roll the shoulders back. All right, look down at the floor, take that left foot off the floor, step it back. And then open up, warrior two. I have to keep turning. And left arm back, right arm down. Open up, this time take the left arm over that left ear if your shoulder's okay and your neck's okay. And then lift the left arm up, straight through the right leg, come into triangle pose. And let's come into a balance. So we're gonna take our left hand down to the left hip, look at the right foot, walk in a little bit, and And then you can take your block under your hand if you want, and come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. And you're either gonna stay here or start to open up and look up at the ceiling.
Okay, that just feels like an online whiteboard.
All right, from there, take your left leg back into your triangle, and then we're gonna turn our body to face that right foot and turn the left toes in, sort of hanging over that foot. Take your hands to your hips, squeeze the thighs together, and come all the way up to stand. Okay, so we're here. Then from there, so I'm trying to do this so that you can still see my head and it's not cut off. From there, take right arm foot forward. Left foot probably was around here. Move it out to the side a little bit so you have more width here. From there, you probably are going to want to block for this one, or something to put your hand on. From there, you take your block to the inside of that right foot to start. Left arm, I'm going to take my right hand to my right hip. Right hip back, left arm long, come forward over the body, and then take your left hand to your left to the block. And we're going to come into Parivrtta Trikonasana. So from there, you can see my hip is starting to pooch out. I'm going to push that in, squeeze it in, and then I want to open the body into a twist. Right arm up to the ceiling. Okay. If that's super easy for you, you want to go a step further, you're going to take the block to the outside of the right foot. This will not be easy. This never gets easy. Squeeze the belly in, root that left heel back, and keep twisting, opening up. And try to make friends with this pose. I never have. I've been teaching for 15 years and practicing for longer, for 20, and I've never become friends with this pose. I'm still working on it. All right, and then release, because that has just gone awful. All right, come down. And let's come into child's. Who likes that pose? Anybody?
No.
No, it's awful. It's awful. Oh, it's nice being able to hear you guys and have a conversation, because it's very lonely sometimes teaching on Zoom. All right, bring the hips back, take your head down for a second, give yourself a little break. That and Warrior 3, I just have never gotten, yeah. All right, come on. Let's come into downward facing dog. Oh no, we have to come in, just find your way actually up to Tadasana. You keep forgetting that we're doing that, step back. Come on, up. There we go. So the other one though, I know there's hope for us because side angle, this one, that one, I used to hate and I'm now very good friends with it. So there is hope. Okay, so maybe in another 20 years, I will be friends with Parivrtta Trikonasana, twisted triangle. All right, so we stepped back with our right foot, left foot. Now we have to step back with our right. So we're going to come into our Utkatasana, twist over to our left side, and then we're going to look down at the floor and take your right foot up and step back. And again, ooh, I'm falling out of this. All right. Lift that right thigh up, keep breathing. And I'm talking through this so my breath is not well calibrated. Yours should be much better than mine. So you want to breath with the inhale and exhale with every movement. All right, take that right heel down, open up Warrior 2. Squeeze right hip in, and then depending if you're it's foggy, so if you're stuffed up, breathing through your mouth, that's totally fine. But if you feel nice and clear, then try to close your mouth and breathe in and out through your nose. Lift up the ceiling from the back of the body, arms out. We're going to take our right arm down, left arm up, come into your extended side angle. If you want to take the hand down, you're welcome to. I'm just teaching it here today. And then you can take the right arm over the ear for this one if you want. And you can even look up. Squeeze the right hip in. Pull the belly in.
Yeah.
All right, come into your Trikonasana, left arm, right arm up if you want, or you can keep it behind the body. Left arm down, look up over the shoulder. And then we'll come into our balance. So we're gonna take our right hand to our hip, look down at the floor, and then push off that back foot, come into the balance, maybe a hand on that block, right arm up, pull the belly in. And then we're gonna release that right hand down and put the foot down in our Parsvottanasana. Take the hands to the hips, come all the way up to stand. All right, we get to do Parivrtta Trikonasana on the other side. So exciting. Okay, so if you have your block, hopefully you have something to put your hand on. And you're gonna take so you're in your Parsvottanasana, take that right leg a little wider. It just helps the hips be able to have a little bit of space. And then right hand, the block is gonna go first on the inside, lift up on that left kneecap. And it can be, sometimes it's harder to have it higher if I'm short, so for me, this is actually kind of high. For me, I'm better off around here. So it can be just a height issue, not even a flexibility issue. Pull the left hip back, take the left hand to the left hip, and then rotate yourself open to the left. Keep lifting, try not to dump through the right hip. Keep lifting the right hip back, and then lift the left arm up to the ceiling. Take 5 breaths here, lift up on the left kneecap. If that feels incredibly easy, too easy, then you'll make it incredibly hard by taking the hand to the outside of that left foot. And lifting the left arm up. And then we'll release that. Take the hands onto either side of the hips and come up. All right, we're gonna do one last balance challenge. And that is going to be, I'm trying to remember how I wanna get into it. Okay, we're gonna come from just the Parsvottanasana. So this is gonna be a Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana, so twisted half moon pose. We're gonna get to it from the floor, from a forward bend. So come down to the floor. I think I have to show it sideways for space reasons. So you're gonna come back into your Parsvottanasana position, but a little bit wider. So just like how we started before we came into the Parivrtta Trikonasana. So coming in from here, and we're gonna take our right arm forward and come down to the floor, hand on a block or to the floor. Then take your left hand to your left hip, bend through the left knee, and start to come off your back foot.
I just found one that.
So for right now, we're square to the floor, and then we're gonna flex that right foot in the air, try to keep the same height, and then take your left arm up and come into the twist. Lift the head forward. And then release from there. You can just put the right foot down next to the left. And then just come into the forward bend. Give yourself a little break. You can straighten or bend the legs. And then bend through the knees, take that left foot back. And we'll come from the floor on this one. So, keeping the right knee slightly bent, take your right hand to your right hip, and then start to walk forward and lift that left leg up to the ceiling. So this one's kind of a little more simple. We're square to the floor, flex the foot. But then we're gonna start trying to open the chest without letting that left leg drop so much. And right arm up. Lift from the back of the body forward so the back stays long. And then take the right hand down, left foot meets the right. And then we're gonna come into a really nice forward bend. Take the hands underneath the feet. So the toes come into the crease of the wrists, bend the elbows out and come forward over your legs. Lift the hips up to the ceiling, head is long, neck is long.
Wait, I am going. Oh, come on. I'm gonna.
release the hands. Last forward bend, you're gonna take your first two fingers of both hands, middle finger, index finger, hook them around your big toes, knees bent to start, then push your thumbs into the floor, pull the elbows out to the side, and then maybe start to straighten through the legs. So you're pulling the body down. And then release the hands. And let's just sit down. All right. So let's come into a back bend and open the shoulders up a little bit more. If you have a block, great. If you don't, that's okay too. First, let's do this wonderful shoulder opener. Take your hands next to your ears. So fingertips are going to be facing towards your shoulders. Now pull the elbows away from the wall behind you. And notice how that integrates, so it's this action, integrates the arm bone back in the shoulder socket. Now stay there for a few breaths, just pushing the hands into the floor. Pull the ribs down to the floor, make sure that the pelvis is neutral. And then release the arms. The wrists, our hands around the wrists. We're going to push into our feet and start to lift the hips up into a back bend. And you could take your block and put it under your hips there in the middle or the highest. And then take your hands underneath the back, interlace the fingers, push the forearms down. Now, if you don't have a block, that's fine. As I've said every week, just push into the feet. You can get higher sometimes if you don't have your block, right? Squeeze the thighs together. Lift the chest. And then we're going to roll all the way down. Go up one more time. Just take a breath. Let the knees go side to side. Don't pull them into the body though. Just let them go side to side. All right, push up one more time. Inhale, lift all the way up. Interlace the fingers. Push the forearms down to the floor. Lift the chest to the chin. Release everything down. All right. From there, we're going to come back into a pigeon. So let's roll. Let's actually just roll to the left. Come all the way up. So pigeon pose. We did it last week. We've been doing it a lot. We're going to come into. I like just swiveling into it, but we'll start with downward dog. So we'll start with coming in here, and then bring your right knee in, and then turn the right knee out to the side, and put the shin down on the floor. Back toes are turned, back leg is parallel. You could tuck the toes under to give yourself, it does make a big difference actually. If you tuck your toes under and then push into the toes, it helps keep that back leg neutral. Remember what we said with that mula bandha at the beginning of class. Squeeze the left sole, pull it towards the right knee, then pull the right knee back to the right hip. So it's, I can't show, unfortunately it's not something you can really see, it's something you feel. Pull it in, pull it back. Okay, if we were in person, that'd be a lot easier to show. All right, so we're pulling that in. The more flexible you are in that hip, the further forward that right shin will come. I'm tucking, I'm totally neutral on that back hip. All right, from there, let's exhale, come forward over the right leg. You can come onto a block or a blanket or a bolster, whatever you have, or come down all the way onto the floor. And just release. So the directional breath that we did in the beginning, when you inhale down, exhale up, this time think of inhaling into the hip and then exhale, release the body a little deeper.
right, step, bringing yourself back up. And if that was just getting good, then come back to that when we're done with class. Because sometimes I want to stay there all day, but we have to have more to do. So that was just like, oh, that was fantastic. I want to do that work, come back to that. All right, that's one you can do all day long, and there's no overdoing it. All right, left hand comes forward, reach back, and we're gonna bend that left knee in and try to take hold of the left foot. And now we're going for opening of that left shoulder. So pull the left rib cage forward so that you're squared off towards the front. And then that same mula bandha action where we're pulling the knee back into the hip and the foot back to the knee. And you can even try the Kegel action here. Really helps. So you're lifting up a bit away from the floor. And then just keep pulling, if you can, keep pulling that foot towards your hip. And then you can stay there, or you can maybe get that hand into the foot into the crook of the elbow. And this is a big stretch on the psoas too. So if you have any psoas hip things, be careful of this one. Like personally on my right side, I probably wouldn't do this one. Pull the right ribs in. Can also do this one where you take the hand over the foot. And then there's also, we're not probably warm enough to do the full grab the hand foot over the head, but there's this one. And that's a bit much on my back. We haven't done enough back bends for me. I'm not a big back bender, so for me, that I have to be really warm to do that one actually. So that one's good for the shoulder. 3 more breaths here. All right, we're gonna release that. And then we don't have to get up. We just get to swivel that left leg around. And take the right leg back. For me, the worst thing you can do to me at the end of a yoga class, if I'm already on the floor, is make me stand back up in the middle and come back to downward dog. Just swivel around on the floor. That's what I say. Okay, bring that left shin forward and then tuck the right leg back under and then tuck those right toes. Pull the ribs in. Get everything all set up, then you can come forward. I'm sorry?
My cat is attacking me.
Oh, you know what? Make her or him sit on your back. Put her to work. That's what I do with my son. If he wants to play while I'm doing yoga, I'm like, oh, come sit here, come sit there. So again, with that that mula bandha action, you can work on it here. Pull the sole of the foot back to the knee and the knee back to the hip. And then coming back up. And I should have prefaced this one that we're about to do that it's, first of all, it's foggy and cold. And this is only an hour class. It's not like a big, juicy hour and a half, big back bending class. So don't be frustrated if you don't get that far in this next one. It's that our bodies are a little bit cold to do any of these bigger back bends super full out. So I'm really just doing this one with you to get into that right shoulder. Any opening you have in the back here should be just an added bonus, and you shouldn't feel anything bad going in your lower back, okay? So I should have said that on the other side. Take the right arm forward. So like, for example, if this right leg isn't even happy being bent in, just kind of do that. And just, this is really just for that opening. So if you can, take the inside of the right foot. And then if you can, and again, it might be that you can't this morning, but you can, you know, this afternoon, or you can next week. Pull the foot in if you're up for that. And then this is the best shoulder stretch, I think, is that one. And then I like to, I've, again, right hip stuff going on, so I like to pull up and really protect and engage all the muscles around that right hip and around my hips, especially on this side. Pull the belly in. And then keep twisting your body so you're facing the front a little more. Again, if you want to, if you want to do that one on this side, I'm not doing that on this side. Anything like that, you're welcome to. Just don't hurt your back. So this is for the front of your right shoulder. All right, and then release that, and feel free all day, come back to that one. Okay, last thing, let's come into side bend, then forward bend. Right leg, legs come out, right knee comes in. We've done this one before. Twist over to the right leg, start to bend back, and then look for that left leg with your left hand. Take the right arm over and come into your side bend. And again, this is the one where you can reach for the foot, but sometimes this is the better stretch.
Can you turn the camera down?
And you could take your left forearm under that left calf or put it on top. Just feel whatever feels like it's the best opening for you.
Yeah, they are important.
All right, come up. Side. Twist to the left. And then that arc over your beach ball here. Right arm down, left arm over. And then keep trying to root that left hip down. It might not stay, but try, just the effort is there, right? Left arm over. One side might be a little easier to grab that foot on than the other. And then by rooting that left hip, you're getting into that side of the left hip a little bit more too. You'll feel more stretch. All right, come all the way up. And last, let's come into a forward bend. So we'll come into a straddle. Take your block or bolster, whatever you have, and then put it down. And we want to be able to put our head down on something. So you can use this as more of an opening and a stretch, or you can use this more as just a relaxation. So you decide.
Mom?
Shh, still teaching.
Oh.
And then start to walk yourself back up. And we'll end in our Shavasana. So it's cold, so whatever layers you need to put on to keep yourself warm. Socks, you could get a blanket. And we did not do an inversion today, so I'll give you two options. If you want to just come onto your back, that's great. If you have a wall nearby and you want to do the Viparita Karani, bring your hips over to the wall and you'll do your Shavasana here. So you guys decide, either one. And we'll do our lion's breath we've been doing. So I will sign on, I will mute myself. I'll mute you guys and mute myself, and then I'll leave the meeting on so you can stay for a good 10 minutes.